Well, Mary Kay, we got to meet the Browns' new trade acquisitions and free agent signings today, and the big one, of course, Tyrod Taylor, their starting quarterback. Officially, Hugh Jackson named him his starting quarterback for 2018. And the question is, does Tyrod Taylor change the draft strategy for the Browns at the #1 pick or even at the #4 pick?
You know what? I really don't think so. I think they still have to go into this draft with the idea that they're going to get their quarterback of the future really either at #1 or #4. I believe it'll still probably be at #1 overall. I think they'll probably settle on a Sam Darnold or someone like that at #1 overall. But, they did make it clear today, he's not a bridge quarterback. He is our starter. Even John Dorsey said he wants this to be a long-term thing. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens when they bring that #1 pick in here.
Yeah, and of course you remember when John Dorsey traded for Alex Smith, and obviously Alex Smith was a #1 overall pick, so a little bit of a different pedigree. But when he traded for Alex Smith, it turns out he was their starter for a long time in Kansas City until they finally decided to replace him with Pat Mahomes just this year, in fact. So you just never know what can happen with a guy when you bring him in and give him an opportunity to start. And if he starts winning some football games, Hugh Jackson said, you start winning football games, all of a sudden we're talking about the guy a little bit differently.
Well, that's the plan. We talked to him today, and he said, he also just wants no talk of bridge quarterback. And he said the only bridge is going to be for him is the bridge to the Super Bowl. So, that's what he's got in mind. So, it will be, I think, almost fascinating to see what happens if they bring in a Sam Darnold or Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, #1 or #4 overall, see what happens in camp, see what happens as the season goes along. But as of right now, they say Tyrod Taylor is their man.
But I am with you. I think they are going to still draft a quarterback. I don't think they necessarily view him as their starter for the next 5 or 6 years. But again, adding him allows you to sit Sam Darnold for a year. It allows you to sit Josh Rosen for a year. And maybe it changes their strategy in regards to who they would pick. Maybe they view Josh Rosen as ready to go. And now maybe this opens up the possibility they're more comfortable taking a guy that would have to sit.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to look at here is I think it also means that they will probably draft a quarterback that has a similar skill set to Tyrod Taylor. You're not going to build your offense around someone and then have to completely change it all up for someone else. So I think they'll have to bring a quarterback in here who can run because that's what Tyrod brings to the table. So, I think most of the guys are still in the mix, but in my mind that still means a Sam Darnold, a Baker Mayfield, a Josh Allen, maybe even at some point a Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson, of course, a lot of people consider him the best athlete just in general in this draft, which says something about a quarterback. And, of course, Baker Mayfield, right about the same size as Tyrod Taylor, both about 6'1", both about 215 pounds. So that's interesting to keep an eye on as well. We have coverage of all of the press conferences, including Hugh Jackson and John Dorsey and Tyrod Taylor at cleveland.com/Browns.